Hello and welcome to the Global News and Atlantic Television Network at 9. First, the headlines. Analyst applauds appeal panel on Rivers crisis. New Edo State Governor promises 5-point agenda. Tinubu remembers Ogoni Mathis. Dangote marketers sign deal. Saudi Crown Prince accuses Israel of genocide. Newcastle United wants Victor Osimhen. Actor Egboegu decries hypocrisy. A warm welcome back to the Global News at 9 o'clock. This is Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. In details, analysts have expressed disappointment with lopsided judgments by court judges, adding that with the appeal court president setting up a panel to investigate some of the past judgments, adding that the move will justify the genuine claims for the nation's democracy. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Open Conversation, socio-political analyst Nze Onze thanked the appeal court for taking the initiative to set up the investigative panel.
The court is giving judgment, which I believe is in its blindness. It is based on what was presented to the court. The court issued judgment.
On the other hand, analyst Chizi Yomasila, in his opinion, argued that the Court of Appeal, in its wisdom, is trying to harmonize all the appeals before verifying the judgments.
So what the appeal is trying to do is to harmonize all other appeals that are in the appeal court, instead of having judgment.
This is coming after the Court of Appeal in Abuja has constituted a special 3-member panel to handle political cases from Rivers State. This is scheduled to begin at November 14th on Thursday. Move on to a different story at Edo State, where the newly elected governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okwebolo, and his deputy, Dennis Idahosa, have been sworn in on Tuesday. The Chief Justice of the state, Daniel Okungbowa, administered the oath to the state number 1 and 2 citizens of the Samuel Ogbemudia Stadium, and both the governor and his deputy have pledged to uphold the Constitution, work within its dictates, and ensure the well-being of the people of the state. Supporters of the party at the stadium cheered throughout the oath-taking ceremony, marking the beginning of a new administration in the state. However, Edo State Governor Monday Okwebolo has promised not to betray the confidence of the people reposed in him by electing him as the governor of the state, stressing that the 5-point agenda made by his administration is designed for robust economic growth and improvement of the lives of the people. The governor, who made the promise during his inauguration as the 6th elected governor of the state, assured them that the welfare of the citizens is the top priority of his administration's 5-point agenda, which includes security, infrastructure and road development, affordable healthcare, water, food sufficiency, value-driven education in the state. Okwebolo, the immediate past senator representing Edo Central, was on September 21st, 2024 elected as the governor of the state, and the new governor, a candidate of the All Progressives Congress, defeated 16 governorship candidates of political parties that participated in the election, including his closest rival, Asu Ighodalo of the People's Democratic Party. Okwebolo was sworn in along with his deputy, Dennis Idahosa, the immediate past lawmaker representing Ovia Federal Constituency in the National Assembly. Still in Edo State, outgoing Governor Godwin Obaseki has given himself a pat on the back, saying his stewardship, the economy of the state grew under his stewardship from 10 billion naira to 25 billion naira. Obaseki would disclose this in his final statewide broadcast to newsmen at the end of his 8-year administration in Edo State. Said the state's economy grew in the agricultural, oil and gas, and manufacturing sectors. He said the state's internally generated revenue would peak at 85 billion naira by December this year, adding that in the last 8 years, his government significantly improved infrastructure across the length and breadth of Edo State. The governor also said the administration constructed over 850 kilometers of state roads across all local government areas of the state, while Edo State leads in Nigeria with a network of almost 2,500 kilometers of fiber optic cables across the state. In Enugu State, the government has strongly condemned the bullying and physical assault of a student at the State Federal Government College, calling it a deeply troubling and emotional distress. The state also ordered a swift investigation, arrest, and prosecution of those involved in the barbaric acts. Commissioner for Education, Professor Ndubeze Mba, told journalists on Tuesday that the government stressed on its zero tolerance for bullying, abuse, and any form of dehumanization treatment in learning environments across the state. He warned that there would be consequences always for such actions. The statement assured that the state government was in communication with the Federal Ministry of Education to ensure that appropriate sanctions were applied to both the errant students and any school managers who failed in their duties. The statement reassured parents, students, and members of the public that the state government would always prioritize the safety and welfare of the students, while citing the record and massive investments made by Governor Peter Mba's administration in the education sector as a commitment to ensuring a safe and conducive learning atmosphere. In Lagos, Justice Ayokunle Faji of the Federal High Court has adjourned till November 30, 2024, the hearing of the suit filed by the Barbarican Capital Limited against First Bank of Nigeria Holdings PLC over a dispute concerning shares valued at approximately 5.3 billion naira. Barbican Capital, the plaintiff in a suit, claimed to have acquired the shares over time, amounting to 15.1% of FBN Holdings shares listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, while EcoBank Limited, through its lawyer Adekunle B. Ogumba, senior advocate, argued that the funds used for the shares purchases were allegedly diverted from the sale of Honeywell Flour Mills shares to Flour Mills Nigeria PLC. EcoBank claimed that this action was an attempt by the Honeywell company led by the chairman, Dr. Oba Otudeko, to evade debts owed to the bank. Despite a Supreme Court ruling in favor of EcoBank, and the EcoBank has filed a motion for joinder in the case and has requested that Justice Faji rescue himself, given that he had previously ruled in a separate dispute between EcoBank and Honeywell. Although Faji found that the Honeywell companies were not indebted to EcoBank, his decision was later overturned with the court's appeal and the Supreme Court affirming Honeywell's indebtedness to EcoBank. And when the matter came up on Monday for hearing, counsel for Barbican Capital, Wale Olanipeku, informed the court that the plaintiff had filed a notice of discontinuance, stating that they intended to explore an amicable settlement. In response, Babajide Koku, representing FBN Holdings, acknowledged the notice, which he had only just received in court, and noted it was intended to allow parties to consider settlement and asked for a short adjournment to consult with his client. We stay in Lagos, where the traffic management authorities have warned motorists, particularly commercial drivers, against speeding and reckless driving in the months. The spokesperson for the agency, Adebayo Taufik, said last month had begun sensitizing drivers on road safety and confirmed that officers of the agency rescued a suspected drunk driver in an accident that occurred on the 3rd Mainland Bridge on Sunday. This is coming after the yet-to-be-identified driver was driving recklessly in a Toyota Camry along the stretch of a bridge inward Adeniji before he suffered a brake failure, ramming his car into some railings and the driver was seen in an unconscious condition as traffic officers surrounded the vehicle. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has expressed sorrow over the tragic loss of lives in a fatal truck accident in the Ayetoro area of Ekpe, Lagos State on Monday. In a post on X.com on Tuesday, Sanwo-Olu extended his condolences to the families affected by the incident. He prayed that the families find solace in the love and support surrounding them. He also prayed that the cherished memories of their loved ones bring them some comfort as they navigate their grief. This is coming after the truck descended from Itaokbo, reportedly lost its brake, hitting a commercial tricycle and a parked Toyota Camry before ramming into the market. In Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde says his administration will continue to put the people of the state first in all its decisions before it believes in ethical leadership. Ethical leadership, which espouses responsibility towards the broader community as a main import of leadership. The governor also said there is a need for more ethical people to be involved in governance in the country, and his government has been able to bridge the trust gap between the public and the government over the past 5 years because it has been running a transparent and people-oriented government. Makinde disclosed this at the third convocation ceremony of the Precious Cornerstone University, Ibadan, held at the University Auditorium, Olaogun area of Old Ile-Ife Road, Ibadan, the state capital. A statement by his special advisor on media, Dr. Suleiman Olarinwaju, said, the governor spoke on the lecture titled Faith, Leadership and Governance, preparing the next generation for the ethical leadership in Nigeria. He added that the more unethical people continued to be in politics, the more the country would experience unethical governance. He stressed the need for responsible and ethical leaders to come on stream for the country to reach its full potential. He further stressed that the set of leaders would be humble, teachable, take decisions for the positive development of the people, choose quality friends, listen to people, that they govern for development. He urged the graduating students to learn the way of ethical leadership, to be humble, and make the commitment to bring about the change that the country desires by joining politics and learning from the best. Governor Seyi Makinde will on Wednesday present the 2025 appropriation bill to the State House of Assembly. Makinde, in a statement released on Tuesday by his special advisor on media and publicity, Suleiman Olarinwaju, said he will present the budget estimates to the lawmakers at an event scheduled to take place at the House of Assembly complex in the secretariat at Agoji, Ibadan, the state capital. The statement said the presentation follows the Stakeholders Consultative Forum meetings held across the 5 zones of the state on the 2025 budget, where inputs from residents of the state were gathered. Moving on to Osun State, where Governor Ademola Adeleke will on Wednesday, November 13, 2024, present the 2025 appropriation bill to the Osun State House of Assembly. A statement issued by Olamide Taimiyu, the Chief Press Secretary to the Speaker of the House, Adewale Egbegun, on Tuesday in Osogbo, said the budget representation is a significant move for Osun State's fiscal future. The statement also revealed that the governor's intention to unveil the budget was officially communicated in a letter addressed to the Speaker, and the presentation aligns with the constitutional requirements. It further ensures that the draft budget is submitted for legislative scrutiny and approval. Police in Ekiti State has commenced investigation into the death of 4 young men who died mysteriously at a river in Ekiti community. The 4 men, who reportedly came from Lagos for an event in Okemesi, Ekiti, a major town in Ekiti West local government area of Ekiti State, now headquarters of Okemesi Ido Ile LCDA, were said to have drowned on Sunday while swimming in Osun River along Ajindo Ikoro Ekiti Road, Okemesi, Ekiti. Eyewitness said 2 of the deceased were from Aworogun household of Okemesi, Ekiti, while the other 2 were from Lagos State. Confirming the report on Monday, the police public relations officer of the police command in Ekiti, DSP Sunday Abutu, said investigations had begun to unravel the actual cause of death for the four men. Minister of FCT, Barrister Yesum Ezenwawike, says his joy comes when the people of the FCT are happy through his delivery of services of the dividend of democracy. The minister, who disclosed this on Tuesday, 12 November 2024, during an inspection of ongoing Saburi Road linking to Karamo in Abuja, appealed to the residents to be patient as everything is working toward making the people happy.
Obviously, by the time we finish, the people of this area were quite happy. Already, it's almost completed. You can see how happy they are. What I've always said is, we believe, as part of the home agenda, to make progress and fulfill the promise of policies we have made. Obviously, we have no other other than to satisfy our people. What I've always told people just to be patient. Nigerians, because things are so bad, and we don't want to be patient. But we can see that the fruit of the democracy, the dividend of democracy, is coming out. Maybe not in the way you want it, but slowly. But at the end of the day, it's important that the people are happy. And for me, what makes me happy is that the people are happy. Just like we're standing here, everybody's happy, and you too should be happy. So I thank everybody.
Wike said good governance is providing infrastructure, securing lives and properties, provision of quality education and other social amenities that people need to live on, as well as being transparent to people.
What do you say, governance? Provision of infrastructure and other things are all inclusive about governance. Providing security is also governance. Making sure that people have quality education is also part of governance. Being transparent is also part of good governance. So we have reduced the level of damage. Some of these convictions have been arrested and been prosecuted. We have a task force now that goes around the night compiling of all the security agencies who are already cleaning the roads by making sure some of those people who say they are beggars, some of them are not really beggars, some of them are pretending to be beggars, but at the end of the day, they cause a lot of havoc. So we're really doing that. It's not easy, but we're going to achieve it.
Speaking on the procurement of the other road projects around Saburi, Wike said,
which was not initially in the plan of work. It was covered before, but during the last rainy season, there was a bad flood. And so we have to upgrade it to a bridge. And so they are saying that to complete that bridge will take them next 2 months. But for the road, yes, they insist that to be completed by this December. As I speak to you, one of the reasons why I came to this point is to see this particular road dated to Life Camp, which is almost being awarded to the same company. Procurement process is almost 80% done. We are waiting for the Bureau of Public Procurement to send us a document that have given the certificate of protection. And if that happens, then we'll go to the Federal Council for approval, and then we'll continue from there.
National Agency for Food, Drugs Administration and Control has confiscated counterfeit wines worth 41 million naira in Nasarawa State. The agency made this disclosure in a post on its official X handle, while the exercise followed a raid in shops in some parts of the state, including Mararaba Market and New Nyanya and Masaka areas of the state. The statement also said the operation targeted counterfeit and adulterated wines and spirits, resulting in the seizure of products valued at over 41.2 million naira, while NAFDAC investigation and enforcement team is actively investigating the importers or manufacturers behind those counterfeit drinks. The post urges consumers to remain vigilant and report suspicious activities to NAFDAC for immediate action. Troops of the Nigerian Army deployed for rescue operations in Taraba State have arrested 12 suspected kidnappers who were apprehended after a distress call from residents of the Chachangi village regarding the abduction of 2 individuals by a group of around 10 men on motorcycles on 7th of November. In a statement posted on X.com on Tuesday, the army said 14 motorcycles, 2 bags of Indian hemp, and a locally made pistol were recovered during the rescue operations, adding that the superior firepower of the troops forced the kidnappers to withdraw deep into the bush, leaving behind their locally fabricated pistol and 2 bags of Indian hemp. The statement, however, revealed that in a follow-up operation, the troops arrested the 12 suspects and seized 14 motorcycles at a local drinking joint in Bakir village, close to Agu Center on the 9th of November. The statement said during an investigation, the arrested suspects admitted to be part of a kidnapping operation and identified their leader as Vio John Gata, a notorious terrorist who has been on the wanted list of security agencies for orchestrating criminal activities in parts of southern Taraba and Benue states. Mining marshals recently deployed to curb illegal mining activities across Nigeria clashed with security forces over the attempted arrest of Chinese nationals allegedly engaging in unlicensed lithium mining in Libata and Gasaki, local government area of Kebbi State. The marshals claimed that they were blocked from detaining the suspect by military and police officers who were reportedly on site to protect the Chinese miners, and the marshals, led by Commander Atta Onoja, had conducted a sting operation aimed at detaining unlicensed miners and confiscating their equipment. This is coming after the marshals prepared to transport the suspect to Abuja. They were ordered by security personnel to halt the arrest. To avoid further escalation, Onoja withdrew his men, vowing to pursue legal action to ensure the enforcement of lawful mining practices in the region. The federal government recently launched the Mining Marshals Initiative under the Ministry of Solid Minerals Development in collaboration with the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. And the program aims to tackle the growing issues of illegal mining across the country. Ewadam Exploration CEO, Engineer Adamu Ta, whose company reportedly has a valid leash for the mining site, alleged that the Chinese company, backed by local security forces, has been carrying out unauthorized mining activities, frustrating their firm's plans to establish a $50 million processing plant in the area, and also claimed that illegal operations not only exploit valuable resources, but also prevents his company from generating over 3,000 local jobs. He called for the immediate intervention to remove the alleged illegal occupants and allow lawful operations to further commence. In Yobe State, the government has renewed its support for the position taken by the Northern Governors Forum in the proposed value-added tax reform bill. Commissioner for Home Affairs, Information and Culture, Abdullahi Bago, who confirmed this in a statement, said, "The state government's position aligns with the communique issued by the Northern Governors Forum." The governor's statement confirmed that Yobe State will adopt the stance outlined in the communique, which details the forum's concerns and proposed amendments regarding the VAT reform bill. In Kano, the state government has set aside 151 billion naira for the payment of monthly salaries and allowances to civil servants and political stakeholders in 2025. Governor Abba Yusuf presented a proposed budget to the State House of Assembly. The Commissioner for Planning and Budgets, Musa Shanono, while addressing newsmen, said the amount earmarked for salaries and allowances was based on the approval of the new minimum wage policy by the governor, while the proposed overhead costs for ministries, departments and agencies were estimated to be 75 billion naira. Shanono described the size of the proposed 2025 budget with the capital expenditure component standing at 312 billion naira, while the recurrent expenditure was set at 236 billion naira. The Commissioner further disclosed that the total recurrent revenue expected to be collected for the fiscal year of 2025 was estimated at 449 billion, adding that it was consisted of 75 billion naira internally generated revenue and 300 billion from Federal Allocation Account Committee. At least 13 persons have been killed in a collapse of a mining site in Bassa local government area of Plateau State. The chairman of the local government area, Dr. Joshua Ritty, who confirmed the incident to newsmen in Jos, expressed sadness over the number of deaths recorded, saying that the incident occurred last Saturday. The collapsed mining site is located at the boundaries between Bassa, Jos South and Jos North local government areas. According to the local government boss, 7 of the deceased hailed from Bassa local government, and most of the deceased were youths between 18 and 30 years old. A different story, 10 persons died while several others were seriously injured in a ghastly motor accident in Taura local government area of Jigawa State. A resident who confirmed the incident that occurred in Yanfari village, Tauri local government area along with Kano Hadejia Road said the incident happened when a bus hit a parked trailer which somersaulted and 10 persons died on the spot. Spokesman to the Jigawa State Police Command DSP Lawan Shishu, who also confirmed the incident, said the vehicle somersaulted and the driver and 9 passengers, while the corpses were evacuated to Hadejia Hospital for medical examinations. He also said investigation has commenced and anyone found guilty will face legal consequences. 2 months after the damage of the correctional facility in Borno State, following the September 10th flooding, 278 escapees are still missing. This is coming after the Maiduguri, capital of Borno State, witnessed severe flooding in September, which led to the destruction of critical infrastructure, including roads, bridges, hospitals, and, most importantly, the Medium Security Custodial Center, where a total of 281 prisoners fled for their safety. The spokesperson of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Abubakar Umar, who confirmed the missing escapees, said the flood brought down the walls of the correctional facility, including the Medium Security Custodial Center in Maiduguri, as well as the staff quarters in the city. While after the jailbreak, the State Police Command confirmed the arrest of 3 escapees in separate statements. The State Police Public Relations Officer Nahum Daso also revealed the 3 rearrested escapees as Awalu Aminu, Abubakar Mohammed, and Kiari Kur. The police were still on intensive search operations to get the remaining 200 escapees. Still in Borno State, the governor, Babagana Umaru Zulum, has called for the expanded collaboration with the World Bank to accelerate the state's post-conflict recovery efforts. Governor Zulum, who disclosed this during a meeting in the newly appointed country director of the World Bank, Dr. Ndiame Diop, in Abuja, stressed on the importance of the World Bank's ongoing assistance in critical areas, including education, agriculture, health, and livestock development. Zulum highlighted the significant importance and impact of the state multi-sectoral crisis recovery project in Borno State, which has enabled the execution of numerous life-saving and transformative projects across the state. While responding, Dr. Ndiame Diop pledged the World Bank's ongoing partnership with Borno State in the areas that were necessary and commended the state's performance in implementing the MCRP projects, noting that the state is the best state in project execution within Nigeria. Dr. Diop expressed his commitment to strengthening the partnership by personally visiting the state, adding that the World Bank will support efforts to reduce the malaria burden and strengthen the livestock sector, while Borno contributes 50% of the livestock in the northeast, with the sector generating approximately 3 trillion naira nationwide, and 40% of which comes from the northeast region. The World Bank boss also said, as peace returns to Borno State, the World Bank aims to support additional development initiatives to bolster the state's economy and improve livelihoods for the citizens. Do not forget that you're watching the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us. Hello and welcome back. This is the Global News on Atlantic Television Network. Now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to fostering dialogue, reconciliation and healing amongst all ethnic groups in Nigeria. Tinubu made this commitment in a special message commemorating the 2024 Ogoni Martyrs Remembrance Day. Conveyed by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, on a title, President Tinubu honors Ogoni Martyrs. The subsequent struggles of Ogoni leaders to protect the environment from harmful oil exploration were met with severe repression, culminating in the tragic execution of late Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 leaders on November 10, 1995, while oil was first commercially discovered in Oloibiri, Ogoniland, in 1958. The 9 activists from the Ogoni region, led by Ken Saro-Wiwa, were hanged after a campaign against oil giant Shell by the regime of the former head of state, General Sani Abacha, while the president declared that he stood in solidarity with the National Youth Council of Ogoni people and all Ogoni citizens to honor those who made the ultimate sacrifice in the defense of the Ogoni nation's interests. The president reaffirmed that his administration would actively address historical grievances and work towards building a united and prosperous nation for future generations. His vision would be realized through constructive engagement and mutual respect for the people. The president has also approved the reappointment of Professor Samson Duna as the Director General of the Nigerian Building and Road Research Institute, NBRRI, for another 4 years. A statement by Deputy Director of Information, Mr. Peter Mashem, on Tuesday in Abuja said the reappointment was conveyed in a letter by Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. Duna has been serving as the Director General of the Institute since his initial appointment in 2020 and is an erudite professor of civil engineering from Biliri, local government area of Gombe State. Inspector General of the Police, Kaide Egbetukun, says police officers protecting the arrested foreign hackers were on an illegal duty. This is coming after the November 4 incident that the police force declared the arrest of 130 suspects linked to high-level cyber crimes, hacking and activities strengthening the national security, and the group included 113 foreign nationals, 87 women and 26 women, mainly in China and Malaysia, as well as 17 Nigerian collaborators. Reacting to the report on a workshop organized for the standardization of criminal investigations, Ebetukun said the police officers had been arrested and were currently being detained, and their commander had disowned them, vowing that the police officers protecting the foreign delegates, the foreigners, would be dealt with. He, however, clarified that there were individuals in society, especially employees of labor and big businessmen, who deserved police protection, adding that some policemen attached to people who did not deserve police protection were not formally deployed. Ebetukun cautioned against misuse of police escorts in the country. National Judicial Council has dismissed as false the report that 2 out of 5 justices that sat on the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal panel, which upheld President Bola Tinubu's election, died mysteriously. Both Justice Mistura Bolaji Yusuf and Justice Bolokoromo Ugo, who were members of the panel that delivered the September 6, 2023 judgment, dismissed the petition of the candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and that of the Labour Party candidate, Peter Obi, as lacking in merit, All 5 justices, including Bolaji Yusuf and Ogo, in a unanimous decision, affirmed Tinubu as the winner of the February 25, 2023 presidential election. And in the report making the rounds, it was alleged that the justices had died the same day, mysteriously. The NJC Secretary, Mr. Ahmed Saleh, however, dismissed the report as false news, adding that the justices were alive and well, while a staffer of the Court of Appeal said there was no truth in the report. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, said the federal government will continue to work on ways to improve welfares of workers. Fagbemi gave his assurance on Tuesday in Abuja during the opening session of a 3-day training workshop for State Council on Proceedings in the National Industrial Court, organized by the Federal Ministry of Justice. He said besides the measures already put in place, including wage increase, the federal government will continue to prioritize the welfare of the national workforce. The AGF commended justices and judges of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria for their contributions to enhancing industrial harmony in the country. He further described it as a specialized court with expertise in the increasingly complex field of labor law. In employment matters and trade unions, it plays a critical role in protection and balancing of employer and employee rights, further ensuring social industrial stability and economic development of the country. He also said the labor force serves as a driver of the economy, which underscores the vital importance of the judicial institution, saddled with constitutional mandate of adjudicating over disputes arising from utilization of labor as one of the main factors of production. A different story, Pastor Christian Duru, the Secretary of the Imo State Artisan Association, is currently cooling off in the custody of the Department of State Security for allegedly defrauding the state government of the sum of 30 million naira over an alleged shady land transaction involving 4.5 hectares belonging to the association. His arrest was prompted by a petition written by the State Commissioner of Industries, Mines and Solid Minerals, Ernest Ibejako, over the alleged fraudulent action. The commissioner in his petition said Imo State's branch of Artisan Association claimed that in 2017, it paid 40 million naira to the Ministry of Industry, Mines and Solid Minerals for the allocation of 4.5 hectares of land, which was allocated at different prices. He further added that the association presented a receipt of 8 million naira, which during investigation was confirmed to be a forged document. It alleged that the remaining 22 million was fraudulently covered by an affidavit instead of an official government treasury receipt, thereby raising doubts over the transaction. While in a statement, Pastor Duru admitted that the money in question was handed over to undisclosed individuals at a local hotel, which the petitioner said further suggested serious misconduct. The commissioner, following the development, reiterated that the state government is determined to uncover all property belonging to it from hands of fraudulent elements. Ibejako declared that the land allocated to ISARTA has been revoked pending on the payment of the 30 million naira to the state treasury account, while the secretary to the association, Pastor Duru, will be prosecuted in court as soon as investigation is completed. The EFCC says the allegations of naira abuse against Ms. Fauziu Danjuma Goje, daughter of Danjuma Goje, the governor, are false, untrue and misleading. This is coming after in a viral video showing naira notes being sprayed freely at a wedding in Kano on Friday, October 24, 2024. Many believe the events in question was her wedding and demanded that she and others involved in naira abuse be held accountable. The EFCC, in a statement by its head of media and publicity, Dele Oyawale, said an investigation confirmed that the video indeed depicted naira abuse, but clarified that the incident did not occur at Goje's daughter's wedding, adding that the event actually took place during the wedding reception at Amina Babagana Zana, daughter of Hajara Saida Haruna, also known as Hafsat Gold Nigeria, the owner of Hafsat Jewelry Enterprise, which has branches in Abuja, Kano, and Dubai. He also explained that a responsible and accountable anti-corruption agency campaigning against currency mutilation and dollarization of the economy. The EFCC swung into action by analyzing the video, and findings showed that the alleged naira abuse happened, but not at the wedding of Goje's daughter, at the wedding dinner of Amina Babagana Zana, held at the aforementioned date. Oyewale said Haruna Zana's mother confirmed the video authenticity and acknowledged that it was taken at her daughter's wedding dinner, and the EFCC has summoned Mohammed to its national headquarters in Abuja, along with others involved in the alleged currency abuse, for further questioning. Analyst says, although some states were more viable than others in the payment of new minimum wage, it should cut across all states of the Federation. Public affairs analyst Comrade Suzy Ikegu, who disclosed these assertions while speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Blowout, said it is important for all Nigerians working in the public and private sectors to benefit.
There are states that they say it's viable that can pay that minimum wage. But whatever it is, it has to cut across every phase, every state, because it is coming from the federal government.
He also raised concerns on the discrepancies of the NLC orders in situations where local government workers are being alienated.
There are states that they say it's viable that can pay that minimum wage. But whatever it is, it has to cut across every phase, every state, because it is coming from the federal government.
This is coming after the Nigerian Labour Congress had issued December 1st as the ultimatum for all state governments to implement the new national minimum wage in view of the worsening economic situation faced by Nigerian workers. Federal government pensioners have protested at the headquarters of the Ministry of Finance over unpaid accord rights. National Chairman of the National Union of Contributory Pensioners, Comrade Silva Wanwu, who led the senior citizens to the ministry, called for the immediate payment of their accord rights. This is coming after the accord rights refer to the pension entitlements under the old scheme before the introduction of the contributory pension scheme by the federal government in 2004. While by the Pension Act, all pension entitlements before 2004 were meant to be paid to the pension fund administrators of each federal government worker upon retirement. Wanwu also said many of the pensioners who retired since 2003 are yet to be given such entitlements paid to their pensions fund administrators by the federal government. An agreement with Dangote Petroleum Refinery to lift products directly and will ensure availability of petroleum to Nigerians at a cheaper rate. IPMAN's national president, Abubakar Garima, who disclosed this at a press briefing in Abuja following a meeting of the National Working Committee of the association, said Dangote Refinery had obliged IPMAN to lift PMS, AGO, and DPK directly for onward supply to IPMAN depots and retail outlets. The new arrangement with Dangote Refinery would ensure a steady and ceaseless supply of PMS products all over Nigeria at an affordable rate. This is coming after on October 29, the founder of Dangote Industries Limited, Aliko Dangote, said the refinery held over 500 million litres of petrol, but added that oil marketers were not buying its products. In a counter-response, IPMAN said its members had been unable to load petrol from Dangote Refinery for days. Garima said their station paid 40 billion naira to the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, but still cannot source the product, while the refinery said it has not received any payments from the IPMAN for refined petroleum products. Speaking further at the briefing, Garima urged IPMAN members to support Dangote Refinery and recall the integration benefits and positive impacts on Nigeria's foreign exchange markets. The partnership between Dangote and IPMAN is expected to increase efficiency and growth in the country, while the move is expected to eliminate middlemen, reduce costs, and ensure steady supply. Meanwhile, the Executive Secretary to the Major Energy Marketers Association of Nigeria, Clement Isong, has explained that the final landing price is determined by several key factors, including the exchange rate, logistics efficiency, and costs of negotiating power based on volume bought. Federal government has spent less on combating poverty in 2024 as social protection spending dropped by 22% despite a surge in economic hardship and savings from fuel subsidy removal. According to data from the Open Treasury portal managed by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, payments made towards social protection as palliatives between January and September 2024 fell to 128 billion from 165 billion in the same period in 2023. This represents a drop of 37 billion naira. This is in contrast to the sector's budget allocation, which rose by 12% from 559.9 billion in 2023 to 629 billion in 2024. The Open Treasury portal introduced in 2019 provides public access to details of government receipts, payments, and financial activities, and it includes daily, monthly, and quarterly spending of the federal government, while the social protection spending in Nigeria refers to government expenditures on programs and initiatives aimed at reducing poverty, vulnerability, and economic equality. It also included cash transfers and other support systems designed to safeguard the well-being of the most vulnerable population, such as low-income households and those affected by economic shocks or disasters. He added that much such spending are intended to provide a safety net, promote economic inclusion, and enhance resilience against economic hardships. The governor of the central bank, Olayemi Cardoso, says new capital requirements for banks operating in the country will enhance their capacity to drive financial inclusion. Cardoso, who disclosed the statement on Tuesday at a second International Finance Inclusion Conference themed Inclusion Growth, Harnessing Financial Inclusion for Economic Development held in Lagos, said in line with its efforts to deepen financial inclusion, the Central Bank of Nigeria recently introduced new minimum wage capital requirements for banks. You're still watching the news on Atlantic Television Network. Up next is the international tidbits. The United States of America has offered a 20 after police operatives and firefighters found the 3-month-old child and rescued him at the hospital, where it was discovered that the child had suffered injuries in 18 parts of his body. The discovery was said to have led to the arrest of Olawusi, and on his arrest, Olawusi was charged in court on April 20, 2017, but his whereabouts became unknown after he was released the same day while the trial was pending. Freeman also said the infant died 6 months after being hospitalized as a result of injuries he had allegedly sustained from his father's abuse, which prompted the prosecution department to include a murder charge in the ongoing trial. The U.S. Supervisory Deputy Marshal also said after frantic efforts to locate Olawusi, it was discovered that he had fled the country on June 20, 2017, while stressing that further investigation revealed that he was receiving assistance from family members in Nigeria, adding that the suspect has been placed on a wanted list because he could pose a danger to children and other members of the public, and the U.S. would deploy all its resources to ensure that he faces justice. Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has condemned Israel's actions in Gaza as genocide in some of the harshest public criticisms in the country. Speaking at the summit of Muslim and Arab leaders, the prince also criticized Israelis' attacks on Lebanon and Iran, while Israel has vehemently denied that its forces are committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza. In a sign of improving ties between rivals, Riyadh and Tehran, Prince Mohammed has warned Israel against launching attacks on Iranian soil, while Saudi de facto's leader was joined by other leaders present in calling for a total Israeli withdrawal from the West Bank and Gaza. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia's foreign minister said it was a falling of the international community that the war in Gaza had not been stopped. Further accused the causes of starvation in the territory to Israel. According to the Hamas-run health ministry, Israel retaliated by launching a military campaign to destroy Hamas, during which more than 43,400 people have been killed in Gaza. President-elect Donald Trump is expected to name Rep. Michael Waltz, a Florida Republican, to serve as his national security advisor. A veteran of the war in Afghanistan and a longtime Trump supporter, Waltz was re-elected to Congress last week, and he will have to vacate his office to serve in the White House. In his role, Waltz would serve as a key White House advisor on national security and foreign policy matters, and it is a prominent role that does not require confirmation. Senator Marco Rubio of Florida is in talks to be Trump's nominee for Secretary of State, though the pick is not a done deal. A decorated Green Beret and Army veteran, Waltz served multiple tours in Afghanistan, the Middle East and Africa, and drew on his experiences serving in the Pentagon during the George Bush administration and in combat in his book Warrior Diplomat, a Green Beret waffle battle from Washington to Afghanistan. On ATN Sports News, Newcastle United are the latest club to be linked with a move for Victor Osimhen. Osimhen is currently on loan at Turkish Super League champions Galatasaray, and the Magpies will make a move for the Nigerian international at the end of the season. It has been reported that Napoli wants £75 million to sell the striker, while Osimhen's contract with Napoli runs until the summer of 2026. He is currently on duty with Nigeria ahead of the 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifiers against Benin Republic and Rwanda after scoring 4 goals in the past 4 games. Watford legend Troy Deeney has slammed Manchester United winger Alejandro Garnacho after he offered a muted celebration following his late goal in the Red Devils Premier League 3-0 win against Leicester City at the weekend. Garnacho put the icing on the cake with a stunning late goal curve against Leicester City at the Old Trafford, but opted not to celebrate. Speaking on the development, Troy Deeney expressed disappointment on Garnacho's muted celebration, insisting that football is not for the Argentina international. On entertainment, popular Nollywood actor Brownie Igboegu has publicly called out his colleagues in the movie industry to express dissatisfaction with the level of ill expressions and hypocrisy among them. Igboegu, in a post on his Instagram page on Tuesday, lamented that what he tagged fake love in Nollywood and cautioned that he would distance himself from any of his colleagues identified as backstabbers henceforth. He also promised to take it easy with fake love in the Nollywood. Nigerian singer J1 has apologized to his colleague Arya Star after he was accused of mocking her over being snubbed by the Grammys. This is coming after the nominees for the 67th Grammys were recently announced, and Arya Star failed to get a nod despite her remarkable run this year. Shortly after the announcement, J1, who has been involved in an online beef with Arya Star, shared a photo of himself posing with 2 Grammy Awards, which many believed was a shade at Arya Star. And following the backlash, J1 has now apologized for his action. He said he believes that Arya Star is one of the best female African talents and vocalists, adding that he doesn't pull people down but elevates them for future purposes. J1 is a voting member of the Recording Academy, the organizers of the Grammys. American television host Oprah Winfrey has debunked reports that she was paid $1 million to campaign for the Democratic Party candidate in the just concluded U.S. presidential election, Kamala Harris. Washington Examiner had claimed the TV personality's company, Harpo Production,